Alright, ladies and genitals, welcome back to another video on the Racing Joker channel, and today we're going to be doing the first episode of the WRX build series. It's just going to be a bunch of bolt-ons and stuff, really, but you know what I mean. For future notice, at the beginning of every My Cars video, I will declare what car the video is going to be about, so that it's easier for you guys to follow. If you guys want to watch every single My Cars video in order, there will be a link to the playlist down below. In the last video, episode 0, I introduced myself, my preferences in cars and things like that, what I want to do like throughout my entire life with cars in layman terms, basically. Layman terms, basically. I feel like that's just saying the same things twice. So if you want to see that, check that out. Just click the playlist button below and you'll be able to find it very easily. But today, it's just about the Subaru, and even more specifically, it's about this darn thing. The GReddy Type S blowout valve that I've got. Now you see, the reason why this is a darn thing, it's a little frustrating, is the way blowout valves are installed on the WRX is it's a push-in installation. You don't weld or anything like that. Like, this is more for like welding or being attached to a certain type of flange. And so you go, well, essentially this isn't really compatible with the car, but it can be if you get the right adapter. So let me start a screen recording on my computer. And we can have a look at some of the stuff I have. So just like anybody else, I make dream notes about cars and things. Well, I hope I'm not the only one, but if not, then I'm uniquely organized, which is unlikely. But notes on the GReddy Type S blow-off valve. So these are some pictures of the blow-off valve that I've got from a few different angles. And essentially, I'm going to need something like this. So basically, this part here will attach to this here, and this is what gets pushed into the car. Like, this is where how the installation works. This gets pushed in. So this is what the stock BOV looks like. Let's see if I can find some other pictures. So this is the stock BOV. Underneath here is where it gets installed into the car. Let's see if I can go to here. So this is the bottom of the BOV that you can't see in the picture, and this part gets pushed in, and then it gets like clamped in and held into the car. I can probably find a better picture as well. I may have to hijack someone's video. All right, I'm just using this picture this guy has of his stock BOV. So you can kind of see it on a better angle here. So this part gets pushed into the car, and this part sticks out. All right, so you can kind of see here. I'm going to mute. This is the stock bypass valve, and when he removes it, which is so you have to get past like skid plates and a bunch of other hoses before you can even reach this, which is why it's also pretty annoying for me to get it, because I don't have the tools or like the space to get under the car and undo everything. But so he undoes the clamp there, and then he just pulls it out, kind of frustratingly. There we go. So that's the part that's clamped down. And essentially, this is where that would go with this attached. And so in order to make this work, the last piece of information I need, so I know I need an adapter, and I know where the blow-off valve stock location is, but I need to know how big this tube is, which means I need to figure out how big this part of the stock blow-off valve is in order for this part to fit. But I can't, as I said, I don't have the tools or the means to really get at the stock blow-off valve to pull it out and measure it. That's a lot of work just to measure a blow-off valve. And so what I've decided to do is I'm going to get the stock blow-off valve and just order it, measure it myself, and figure out how big the adapter needs to be. And so at the end of the day, when I've done all this and I've installed the GReddy Type S, I'll have 2 stock blow-off valves. Oh well. But it will be a lot less hassle for me, even if it's a little bit more expensive. So I'm gonna get one of these, and then I will be able to measure it and then find an adapter or have one made, I guess. And yeah, that'll be perfect. So I'm going to make the order, and I will see you guys right after I've done that. Agree and continue. They should now email me. Order confirmation. Excellent. Okay, so the part is ordered. I don't know when that'll be estimated to arrive. Allow up to 2 to 4 working days for your shipment of your order. So this will definitely not, this might take a little while, but I will see you guys in the next clip when that gets here, and then we'll try and do a measurement and figure out how big the tube needs to be for the adapter, and then we'll see if we can just find an adapter, and then we'll be good. We'll be good to install the blow-off valve. The plan is, so I'm going to be going to Illinois in March, and there's a shop called Turbo Connections where I've taken the car before to try and figure out how to install this, and we couldn't really figure it out. So I did a lot of research, figured out I needed the adapter and all that sort of stuff. So they'll do the install because they can lift the car up, take off all the skid plates, take out the stock blow-off valve, and put this in, push it in, and we'll be good. And even if I can't find an adapter, they might also just be able to fabricate one that works. So as long as I have the measurement, I should be good. The important part is the measurement, and so that's what ordering this was for. It will get here at some point, and I will see you guys when that happens. I'll see you guys in the next clip. 5 days later, the part has arrived, and I feel like I'm one of those people that gets excited whenever anything arrives at my apartment / house. Like whether it's a stock part or an aftermarket part, I was genuinely excited to see the package for the stock bypass valve. All right, it's time to uncover the truth about the stock WRX bypass valve tube size. That's a mouthful. Okay. So, I kind of opened this a little bit at first because on the side it says 12 fuel filters, which is not what I ordered. But let me show you what's in the box. So in this big box, which is supposed to have a blow-off valve, we've got a slightly smaller box, which also has Nissan written on it. I promise I haven't been secretly buying Nissan parts. I don't have a Nissan yet. But on the inside of that, another little box. And this one actually feels like it has something in it. And on it, it actually says what I want. Valve air bypass. Subaru genuine parts. Quantity 1. Valve assembly air bypass stuff. More annoying ass tape. This part looks simple, but I could get outsmarted by it very quickly. Yes, this is it. The moment of truth. I hold in my hand the part that is currently on the car right now. This is the stock bypass valve on the 2015 to and onward Subaru WRX, not the STI, just the WRX. So the cars with the FA20 DIT, just to give you a better idea of what this looks like, because there's no images of this anywhere on the internet. So I'm gonna give you guys everything you need. Yeah. So, how does this compare to this? Quite differently, actually, interestingly. But now, so the way this works, I can better explain this now, is that, you know, as I said in the first part of the video, all this, just caressing it, sticks out. And this part is the part you actually push in, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this part is sticking out, it's not pushed into anywhere, it's just open. You see this and all this. I think a hose gets attached to this thing here. I'm not an expert in blow-off valves. And this gets pushed into the spot where the blow-off valve is, you know, it's connected to like an inlet clamp or something. Like a tube, a clamp is clamped around it. Technical terms. You shove it in, insert sex joke here, and voila, blow-off valve. Now, I saw this box outside my door in my apartment, and I got so excited that I couldn't wait to record this next part of the video. And then I realized I have no way of measuring it. Like, I don't even have a ruler. So, I've just gotten back from my last class today. Today's Wednesday. And I walked to the pedestrian mall, went into CVS, and got myself a simple wooden ruler just to see how this looks. So we've got centimeters, millimeters, and inches. We'll start with inches just to see how things look at first. So we've got, because I don't really care about the space on the inside, it's more about the outside, because that's the space that, you know, actually makes contact with the tube it goes into. So we're going to see how big this might be. Because if it's 1.5 inches, doesn't seem to be, there's an adapter I found that is kind of 1.5 inches, but if this doesn't even come close to that, then there's no point in being excited about that. Okay, it's not 1.5 inches. Let's put this in centimeters. Yeah, I kind of figured it would be a little awkward at first to measure this with a ruler. I would say nearly 3.5 centimeters. 3.4 centimeters. That's what? So that's 34 millimeters, essentially, isn't it? Unless if I can't do math. 3.4 centimeters to millimeters. I have no concept of any units of measurement, so I'm sorry. I don't know centimeters, inches, miles, kilometers. It doesn't matter. I've lived in too many different places. So 34 millimeters. So that would mean that the adapter that attaches to all this here has to essentially translate to a tube that's 34 millimeters wide in diameter. Yep, diameter is the correct term. I didn't just have the check, I swear. And yeah, that's what we need now. I mean, this adapter here is 34 millimeters and it's not 1.5 inches, it's 1.25. Oh. So would a 32 millimeter be good enough? I mean, it's doubtful. I mean, I'm not concerned about, I think it's called, yeah, I'm not concerned about the vacuum line attaching. Sorry, I'm not actually trying to flip you guys off or anything. But what I really do want to get right is how big the tube is going to be on this end, so that when you push it in, it's not loose or anything like that. But I don't know if maybe you can make the clamp tighter, maybe? I mean, it looks like it's got to be pretty tight from the get-go. So let's do another measurement in here and see if we get 1.25. Now that I've kind of corrected myself. So this is definitely, I've already got, so that's one. Just trying to see what the longest measurement I can get is. About there. I'm trying to keep that there. Maybe 1.2. I'm a lot better at using centimeters. Let's look at this again. So that's 32 millimeters. If that was 34, that would probably be perfect. If I can find one that's 32 millimeters, I think we're in business. Or 34 millimeters, because I can't speak today. There's probably a smarter way to do this, and I'm going to do it. Instead of trying to freehand this, which is probably the most difficult way to do this and probably the most inaccurate. So I'm actually going to try and be intelligent for once, since this is something I actually care about. I need a clean, unmolested piece of paper, preferably as flat as possible. I didn't put my groceries into the freezer. Okay, there we go. distractions over. Okay, well I have, this is like the receipt for, okay, we got two things here. Two things. We're gonna try and trace, bear with me, I think this is clever. We're going to try and use Tom's version of geometry to figure out what the diameter is of this so that I can get an actual proper measurement so that I know exactly what I need. Because I've waited all this time, spent all this money, might as well do this right. All right, blow-off valve, time for you to serve your purpose. It's moving a little bit. Okay. Well, I mean, what happens when I do this just like this? It's inches, which for whatever reason I just can't read. Yeah, that makes it longer. Man, I thought I was being smart. What if I were to, there's gotta be a way. 2 times the radius. Well, how the hell do I measure the radius? I mean, if I had the radius, I mean, this would be a lot easier if this was on paper. Heck. Really putting your education to use here, Tom. I mean, that might be, I mean, it's basically, what? 34, maybe 33. Tricky thing is, it kind of juts out a little bit too. So even if I did that, 34, basically 34. Okay, well, let's see if there's such thing out there. BOV, push-in adapter, 34 millimeters. Let's see if this is a thing. Because if it is, I think we're in business. Tubing diameter, we got one here. It's in millimeters. I don't know what the heck that means. 1 minus 3 slash 8 inches. Is that 1/3 of 8 inches? Question mark? Okay, let's go back to our search. We got a Turbo XS adapter. Are even any details about this? No. That's not helpful. IAG blow-off valve adapter. 1.35 inches. Well, I mean, that's just, that might work. God, Heckington, I don't know. 1.375. That's nearly 35 millimeters, which is generous. Would that work? Because, I mean, when I don't know if it would. Because what is the inlet tube made of? Because it looks like it's plastic or rubber, something like that. I mean, we could try this one, but like, where'd the GReddy blow-off valve go? Where'd you go? Oh, would that match up with this? I mean, I don't know if there's even a way for me to check that. I mean, it basically looks like one of these. I don't really have to worry about. So this one's a candidate. The IAG blow-off valve adapter. We'll hold on to that. This one I have no idea what the measurements are for the Turbo XS one. There's no info at all. I mean, we can check. Going to the Turbo XS website. Let's point the camera at me while I do this. Okay. Blow-off valve is not included. Well, it's an adapter. I can understand that. No idea. So the IAG looks like our best bet so far. I mean, it's pushing 34.9 millimeters. I'm hoping that's not too big for the tube, because it very well could be, but I don't know if that could be modified. I will. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I've got measurements, kind of. So let me do the measurements of the blow-off valve again. Let's say the minimum is about, I would say, 34 millimeters. Okay. Let's move you back. And the adapter we have found is essentially 35. It's 34.925. I mean, it says measures 1.375 inches, which is what I just said, millimeters, for both inlet and outlet. Which means either that'll be very snug and tight, which is perfect, or it could be too big. In which case, I'm not sure what can be done about that. So what I'm going to do is send a text to Turbo Connections. Well, it's a Facebook message. And I'll say, I found the thing. I got the measurement for the blow-off valve. It's 34 to... oh, crap. What was it? It was 34 to maybe 35 millimeters. And the adapter I found is perhaps 35 millimeters. Almost. So I'm going to send him a message real quick. Okay, so the message says, so the good news is I measured the stock blow-off valve and it's somewhere between 34 and 35 millimeters, give or take a very small amount. The inlet pipe that the BOV is pushed into appears to be plastic or rubber with a clamp on it which is tightened for securing it. The only adapter I found appears to be 34.9 millimeters, essentially 35. Would it be possible to get that adapter and then modify it to make sure it fits correctly in case it doesn't? Or would it be better to make an adapter for this specific purpose? Send. I feel sorry for all people in the performance industry that have to talk to me, because while I might have some stimulating things to say, for the most part it's asking a lot of really weird questions, very vague, and a lot of time wasting before anything actually worthwhile happens. So now hopefully we can kind of get the ball rolling with this and prepare for March when the time comes to put the blow-off valve on the car and hopefully get it right on the first try, because I will only be there for about a week. That's how quickly we'd have to be able to get it done. The only thing that might be a little tricky about this blow-off valve is that it doesn't have the same like holes here for the screws and stuff, because I think it's more for like OEM purposes, which is a little, it's not really what we're doing. We've got another adapter here. This is on enjukuracing.com. It is a GReddy style flange. This is weird. This isn't really what I have in mind. I wish it was as simple as you attach it to an intercooler pipe and that's it for this. But I don't know much about that, so we're trying to put it in the stock location, which might be overcomplicating things just a little bit, which is annoying. But I mean, like, I'm sure if we got the adapter, we'd probably be able to just drill holes through it anyways. I mean, it looks like someone has kind of cut through this anyways, so I'm not too worried. It's just for the screw holes. I mean, otherwise, I guess it could attach to this, but that seems kind of silly. But if we needed it to, it could. But then this screw would be in the way. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I asked him if it would be better to make our own. Because where's the GReddy Type S style one? I mean, we've got this adapter here. It's GReddy style. It's apparently for an Evo, but since it's just a little adapter, it probably shouldn't matter that much. I just clicked on something for an Evo exhaust manifold. My bad. JM Fabrications. Why is this not even... This isn't even showing up. So we got that. I just need the measurements, damn it. Because this one looks kind of perfect for all intents and purposes. 8 inches. I mean, this one might be perfect. Hold on. Let me try and figure out the dimensions of this. Ugh, I have to turn on frickin'... Okay. How many millimeters is this? I mean, because this, if this, a lot of very different pictures of this darn thing. Evo Adapt 01, JM Fabrications, Evo Adapt 01. So here it is on eBay. I think it's really funny. I mean, because if that's a good measurement, we can get that, because then that would better fit, you know, this part, this area here. So we're gonna pray for that. But I'm gonna pause the video here because I've been rambling for too long, not knowing the answer to anything. But we've gotten a little bit closer. We did that next step. We got the stock BOV. It's kind of cool to have. It's like an extra part to just have in the collection. And we'll figure out how big that is, the Mitsubishi adapter, which we might be able to use on our Subaru, which would be funny. And we'll see what the guys at Turbo Connection say. And I'll get back to you guys when I get those pieces of information. Okay, so we're back. 16 days later, it's March 2nd. I've been really slow, but I've been doing research. And so I have figured out, you know, what adapter we need to replicate this tube on the bottom of this. So the adapter we're actually going to use is the one with the measurement I couldn't interpret. So it had its measurement listed was 1-38, which, and you guys probably already know this, is 1 3/8, which in millimeters is 34.925, which is great because I need something between 34 and 35 millimeters, and 34.925 should be good. So that means that you know, that adapter will attach to this right here, and it was made for the Mitsubishi Evo, funnily enough, but it's an adapter made for GReddy blow-off valves, so it should work just fine. So that will allow me to do the push-in installation. I know this is kind of suggestive, but it'll go like that. And so we got that figured out, but now we need to figure out this, because this also gets pushed into something. And I think it gets pushed into an air duct intake thing. And finding an adapter for this is much more tricky because this is just the tube on the side. And so I did some measurements of this tube. And so on the stock blow-off valve here, this is 2.6 to like 2.7 centimeters. And on the GReddy Type S blow-off valve, it's 3.4 centimeters. We need it to be 2.6 or 2.7. But there aren't any adapters that I can think of that would change this into that. I've looked into tubes and other things like that and hoses, but I think what I'm going to have to do is custom fabricate, you know, like have this get cut off and essentially, I guess, have a, you know, like get this tube removed and have a new tube that's the correct size welded on. So I'll have to find a shop that can do that. That'll be what the next episode will be about, is probably modifying this. And then once we can do that, once we have the adapter and we have that figured out, we'll be ready for the installation and the episode after I get the blow-off valve, you know, cut and modified. I will have it be installed either by a shop or I'll do it myself if the shop isn't willing to do it. But I'm hoping we'll be fine. But yeah, so I'm going to order the adapter, and next episode we're going to see if we can't mess with this blow-off valve and get this tube to be the right size, and then hopefully we'll be set to go for an installation. It will also, you know, hopefully the adapter walls will be perfect. I'm pretty confident. But hey, this research has actually been pretty fun, and I look forward to making the car sound really unique and really cool. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry it took such a long time for it to come out. Don't worry. I'll be working hard to figure out how to modify this. I only have a couple weeks before I go to Illinois, where the shop is at, so we need to get the adapter and the blow-off valve modified in time for that. Then they can do the install, and hopefully we'll be good. But this is cool because I don't think there's any other FA20 DIT WRXs out there that are trying to do a blow-off valve setup like this. Probably because it's more trouble than it's worth, but it's mostly aesthetic. I don't think it really helps performance too much. I think it's just really cool. It's not really all that justifiable, but hey, I don't care about justifying stuff. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching for the second time, maybe third. I will see you guys in the next video. I am going to be working on other Car Topics Explained videos, so look out for that. I'm going to be doing the Nissan Skyline GTR from Fast and Furious, the fourth film, the 2002 R34. Yes, I know it wasn't actually a GTR, but there are other Car Topics Explained coming out. I know you guys really like those. I'm hoping you guys also enjoy these. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. I am Tom, the Racing Joker, signing out. Stay crazy.